We finished the runway extension that is now completed, and the ILS, the instrument landing systems, are being burned in, so that just in time, really, for the inclement weather that we typically will see in the early part of the year, in January, February timeframe. So we're really happy to get that up on board, and we're not wasting any time as we move into our next project, which is the air traffic control tower replacement. The contractor has been awarded and the project, so we should start early January, February with actually some transition period for communication lines and things like that to our temporary facility as the contractor continues to get all their building materials and everything else acquired. So that project is raring to go, and we're looking forward to that. We have a lot of other things going on, particularly the Winter Texan season. It has just started with Sun Country and Delta flying nonstop from Minneapolis. Delta with connections in Minneapolis that really connect the entire upper Midwest to the Rio Grande Valley and South Padre Island. So really excited. Those flights are full. We're seeing record numbers in October over last year's record numbers, so we're really excited about that. Of course, we have our other carriers, American and United and Southwest, that also contribute to the Winter Texan season. So we're really excited about that. In addition, we have Delta now flying nonstop to Austin, as well as Southwest flying nonstop to Austin. So that's contributing to numbers as well, and allowing new connections from different cities through Delta to the Rio Grande Valley. So lots going on. Yes, we could probably continue, but it is amazing growth.
Southwest so closely aligned with Valley International Airport historically. Do they mind that you're also got Delta flights also going to Austin?
They understand that, all airlines understand is that airports, if you have an airline that wants to come into your airport, you have to treat everyone equally. That's on their side, their competitiveness, and, actually the citizens of the Rio Grande Valley benefit from that competitiveness between the carriers. As you may know, that, from a statistical standpoint, flying from Valley International Airport, you're 35% cheaper flights just because of that competitive nature between the airlines.
So going back to the extension of the runway, I know that was a big project for you, and you're saying that's now completed. How much longer is the runway, and why is it important?
Well, the runway was originally 8,300 feet. That was the longest runway down here in the Rio Grande Valley. We also, though, have large cargo wide-body jets flying in here twice a day with FedEx and twice a day with DHL, bringing cargo in and out of the Rio Grande Valley. Those cargo jets, large wide-body jets, were limited on takeoff ability. So in taking off, they could only carry 48% of their maximum gross takeoff weight. Now with the runway extension moving 1,100 feet to 9,400 feet, they are able to go to 75% of their maximum gross takeoff weight, which is normal for that type of operation.
Am I right in thinking it's the longest runway south of San Antonio? Or Austin?
You are correct. The largest, longest runway south of Austin. So again, it not only helps those cargo carriers, but also, we always look at, in the aviation industry, the longer the runway, the better, right? For any kind of issues that you might have, even on commercial carriers. I think the big point with that runway extension was the new approaches, the new ILS approaches, not only from the north, but also from the south on that runway. So it actually lowers the minimums, that Category 2 approaches. It really cuts them in half. So when you have fog or inclement weather, pilots will able to fly that approach down closer to the ground in order to see the runway, in order to land. So your chances of delays or cancellations on flight here at Valley International Airport are much, much better, that you will not have those issues than you will at other airports.
And moving on to the air traffic control update you've just given us, is that the one where you were able to receive $5 million in federal funding with the big announcement from Congressman Gonzalez.
It was a really complicated project to put together, not only from just to engineering standpoint, but also from a funding standpoint. This project probably couldn't happen in any other time in history, but with the infrastructure bill that from a COVID time period allowed different programs from ACP, air terminal, or ATP, I'm sorry, the air terminal program, as well as FCT, the Federal Contract Tower program, as well as the AIG, as well as the AIP. It goes on and on, but it was a culmination of funding from all of those two particular programs coming together to finance this project. So we're happy to recently receive that ATP funding for $5 million. That finalized the funding that we needed. We also expect to see an additional FCT funding, about $2 million, we're hoping, and that just puts the cherry on the top. The tower that we have right now was built in the early 70s, and I can guarantee you it shows that the infrastructure on that tower is compromised with corrosion and other issues. It doesn't meet the requirements as we move forward and we continue to expand here, which is amazing. The growth that we are seeing, that we ensure that we maintain a safe operation. And I'm not saying that the current operation in the current tower is unsafe. It just that we need to be able to raise the tower in order to see certain areas on the airfield, particularly with the runway extension, to be able to see that end as well. So it'll just make it that much more safe. So we're really excited about that. It's a better environment to air traffic control towers or air traffic controllers to work in that tower, a new tower, which leads to additional capacity that the airport will have from airspace standpoint. We expect to see a lot more military aircraft here utilizing those approaches as well, and along with our government flights as well that operate in the evening and late hours of the night. So lots of things that the new air traffic controller tower is going to have.
And the time frame on that project?
Again, start January, February time frame, early 2025, and we're looking about 18 to 24 months to finalize the project. Competition between airlines, the more airlines you have at your airport flying particularly the same routes, that you can fly American to DFW to get to Dallas area, but you also fly Southwest to Love Field, to get to Dallas area. You can do the same thing with United and Southwest in Austin. Houston. So the more competition you have, the more they're competing for your business, and therefore those flights are going to be cheaper. So that's what leads that statistically, and looking through the DoD numbers, that you'll see that a ticket will typically cost you 30 to 35% less here at Valley International Airport than other competing airports.
Do people know about that?
They should. Everyone that looks for flying out, particularly with a family, please look at Valley International Airport, as it could be saving you a lot of money.
Anything else you'd like to add, Marv? Have I missed anything out about all the good work you're doing here at the airport?
Well, I can tell you that right now, again, we're in the swing of the Winter Texan season, and we're working really closely with our friends and partners at South Padre Island, CBB, to get the word out in the upper Midwest on these flights that are available, and to make them aware that South Padre Island is a great, and the Rio Grande Valley is a great place to come, for vacation in the wintertime, to get out of that cold weather. So we're working really closely to drive that traffic. We already carry over 75% of all air passengers from South Padre Island. So coming into South Padre Island, we'll carry over 75% of the traffic.
And I guess I should ask, because I always like to ask this one when we do meet up, your efforts, your marketing efforts to tell those Winter Texans up in Minnesota and Michigan, etc., about the value of coming down here and escaping the worst of the weather.
That's exactly right. We really concentrate advertising outside the Rio Grande Valley, as we know that the local people here understand and know the dynamics that are here, and when we have new routes, we'll advertise those new routes for the local population to see. But we really want to concentrate on bringing passengers to the Rio Grande Valley, particularly from that upper Midwest area that's really kind of ripe for the picking. That's dollars that are coming into our communities here locally. So we really concentrate on that, and we'll advertise extensively in the upper Midwest in a lot of those cities.
Marv Esterly, Airport Director, Valley International Airport, thank you so much for today's interview.
You're welcome anytime.